everyone, it's me, Anne-Marie, and welcome to our city homestead. Today we'll be making hot cross buns.
Hot cross buns are a spiced fruited sweet bun with a cross traditionally eaten on Good Friday to mark the end of Lent. This recipe is from the 1940s. And so first of all, I'm going to be adding 1 cup of flour. I am using stone ground flour as well as regular all-purpose unbleached flour. And to our 1 pound of flour, we're going to be adding a sprinkle of salt. Next, we're going to add the sugar. I'll have all the measurements in the description for you. Next, I'm adding the yeast. I'm using instant yeast. By the 1940s, they would have used fresh yeast or a yeast cake, which where I live is not very easy to come by anymore. I'm also adding cinnamon and a traditional recipe for British mixed spice. This spice was commonly used during wartime rationing. I'm just going to give it a quick stir. If you're using active yeast, like traditional active yeast, then you'll want to activate it first in a little bit of water. And then you can add it to the flour when we add the milk. Once I have all the spices mixed in, I'll be adding the rest of the ingredients. Did you know the famous 1 a penny, 2 a penny hot cross buns nursery rhyme was published in the London Chronicle in 1767, showing the popularity of hot cross buns. Next, I am adding orange zest. So I'm just using a fine grater to do that, but you can use a microplane. And I'm just taking the orange peel off. You don't want to go to the pith because that will make it really bitter. So you just want to get just the outside of the zest from the orange. And I'm going all around the entire orange, getting as much of that zest as I can. Next, I'm adding an egg, about 1 ounce of melted butter, currants, and citron peel. I'm only using half of the amount instead of the full amount. And in the 1940s, you would have added what fruit that you had access to or what you were able to spare. Next, I'm adding warmed milk. You just want to add a little bit at a time so that the dough is not too wet. I just add some and mix and add some and mix. And because I'm using a stone ground flour, I find that it uses more liquid than regular flour does. A monk in 1361 developed the Alban Bun, and he cooked them up and gave them to the poor on Good Friday, which is similar to a hot cross bun. I'm going to add a bit more milk because I want all of that stone ground flour to be mixed into the dough. So I'm adding just a little bit more of milk. As you can see, it's come together pretty good. It's a bit sticky. And that's all right. I'm going to flour my surface, and now we are going to start kneading the dough. I scraped the bowl really well. I don't like to waste the dough, so I made sure the bowl was all clean. I am just adding a little bit of flour and getting all of the dough off of the spoon. I add a little bit of flour to the dough, and then I'm just going to start kneading. I kind of like push it all together and fold it over. And make sure you add the fruit back in, because the more you knead it, the currants and the citron peel just kind of fall out of the dough, and that's totally okay. So I just push it together and fold it over, and using the heel of your hand is how you want to knead the dough. And I just add flour if it's a bit sticky, and I just knead the dough until it is tacky but not sticky. I find when I use stone ground flour, the more that I work it, kind of the tougher that the dough gets. So I try not to overwork it too much. But if you have any tips on using stone ground flour, I'm kind of new to using stone ground flour, so if you have tips, I would love to hear them. So once again, just using the heel of my hand, I push the dough, and then I turn it over, I flip it, and then I use the heel of the hand, and I continue doing that until, like I said, till the dough is just tacky. Now this 1940s recipe does not require the dough to rise first, so we are right away just shaping it into buns. So I want to get 15 buns out of this, but you can easily just get 12. So I cut the dough into 3 sections, and then each section into 5 pieces. And then I just kind of roll it into itself and then form the bottom all together. Like I pinch the bottom of the bun together to form the bun. This is how my grandma showed me, and this is just how I make the buns. And then you want to set that into your greased pan and continue on until all the buns are done. My daughter here is helping me. She loves to make buns and form the loaves and all that kind of fun stuff. So she is helping me make these buns. Did you know, in 1592, Queen Elizabeth I had forbidden the sale of spiced buns. And the spiced buns were only allowed during funerals, Christmas, or for Good Friday. Queen Elizabeth I thought that the spiced buns were too sacred for daily consumption. The superstition around hot cross buns is that if you make hot cross buns on Good Friday, They will not mold or rot, and they will bring good fortune and protect your home. I'll definitely be making these hot cross buns again, but I am going to tweak that recipe a little bit. And once I change it up just a bit, I will share that in the description with you, how I changed it and if it made a lighter, less dense bun. As we shape the buns, if any currants or citron peel falls out, we just stuff them back into the bun. Here are the buns. I'm just placing them on the warm stove, and I'm covering them with parchment and letting them sit till they're about doubled in size, about an hour. Here are the buns afterwards. We are mixing flour with water to make a paste, and now we are putting the crosses onto the hot cross bun. And this flour water mixture, it is really thick and goopy. I probably could have added a little bit more water to it so it's not so pasty. But I didn't, so my daughter's just continuing on and she's piping on the crosses onto the buns. Early Christians adopted the custom of hot cross buns, with the cross representing the crucifixion and the spices symbolizing those used in Christ's burial. There really are a lot of different traditions and customs surrounding hot cross buns. This flour mixture is a little bit tricky to use, so we just use some scissors to help cut that. But like I said, if you put a little bit more water than what I did, it will pipe a lot easier. The hot cross buns are ready to go into the oven. I'm baking them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 to 30 minutes. I bake them for about 25 minutes, just until they're light golden. And then you're going to brush them with golden syrup. We put a little bit of golden syrup in a bowl and microwaved it just to make it a little bit more, I guess, thinner and easier to spread with the pastry brush. And then you just spread a little bit of syrup on all of the buns. The golden syrup adds a nice sweetness to the bun. They have a lovely spiced flavor and a nice orange taste as well. And there's just the right amount of fruit in them too. They're really good. My daughter is lighting her tallow candle. Since we use the orange for the zest, she just juiced the rest, put in a wick, and melted up some tallow and poured it into the shell of the orange. These hot cross buns go great with a cup of tea. A fresh hot cross bun for us, and let us serve one for you too. Enjoy these hot cross buns from the 1940s with a lovely cup of tea and a warming candle. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a fabulous rest of your day, and we'll see you again here soon. Bye, everyone.